Good morning students. Today in this video I will be discuss the first chapter of chemistry of class 11th. The chapter name is some basic concept of chemistry. In the topic whatever I am going to discuss with you, this is the significant figure. So what are significant figure, that is the point. If you will see here, all the certain digits plus one doubtful digit present in a number, that meaning the sum of all the certain digits and one doubtful digit that are present in the number, that are called significant figure. That I will be explaining you with the help of an example. Suppose I am having here one container in which I am going to measure the volume. Suppose this is a container and here the value is 23, this is 24 and this is 25, that is in ml. That much of ml I'm going to write it. Now I'm going to fill up the water. As I'm going to fill up the water, suppose the water whatever I'm going to fill up till this sign, that is the water present in this is the water. Now if I will be asked to you ki what is the volume of the water present in the container, so what you will be say? You will be say this is, because that is at the middle level, so you will be say कि this is 23.5 ml. 23.5 ml. Now we can't say about this कि this is the exact value of 0.5. Maybe it will be a 0.49, maybe it is a 0.51, so it's not the exact value. So if you will see here, this 2 and this 3, these two digits, that are the certain digits, that are the certain meaning easily we can say that that is the actual digits. And in this 5, it is not a certain, this is a doubtful digit. This is the doubtful digit because it can be 0.49, it can be 0.51, so that is a doubtful digits. So that meaning here if you will see, 2 are the certain digit and 1 is the doubtful digit. So total significant figure is here 1, 2, 3. So we can say that significant figure is 3 significant figure present in this number. Now the other example if I will be discuss with you people, that is suppose one more container I am having. This is the container. In this container I am going to fill up the water. Here the values, this is given 23, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, this is the 24, this is the 24. Now here I am going to fill up the water in the same container. So I have filled up the water till this level. This is the level, till that I am going to fill up the water. This is the water. This is the water. Now here if I will be asked to you people ki what is the volume of water that are present in the container, so what you will say? This is a 23, 23.1, 23.2, 23.3, 23.4, that is a 23.5, but the water is lying in between 23.4 and 23.5, so I can say that this value approximately 23.45, this is 23.45 ml. That much of value is available here. So if I will be check out here, you can see this 2 and this 3 and this 4, they all 3 are certain digits. Certain digits meaning ki that are the accurate values. That are the accurate value, because 23.4 till here. But this 0.5, whatever 0.5, this 5, this is the doubtful digit. Doubtful digit. Reason for doubtful digit, because the value is not given here. The value is not given here, that is the 23.4 and 23.5, and here in between there is a no value. So I can say that this 5, this is a doubtful digit. So again, according to the definition of the significant figure, or the sum of all the certain digits and one doubtful digit that are present in the number. So how many certain digits are available here? This is 1, 2, 3 and one doubtful digit is this. So total is 3 plus 1, that is 4. So this is 4 is the significant figure of this number. 4 is the significant figure of this number. So that is the significant figure's value, and this is the way to tell about the significant figure. Ki significant figure is what? That I have explained you with the help of two examples. I hope you have understand to find the values of significant figure. Yeah, what is the significant figure? In my next video, I will be discuss some rules to find out the significant figure. Thank you. Good morning, students. Today in this video, I will be discuss some rules for determining the number of significant figure. Like, first rule is here, all non-zero digits are significant. All non-zero digits meaning those are not zero. Like suppose I am writing here 3.124. All they are non-zero digits. That's meaning all the digits are significant. If you count down 1 2 3 4, so all the 4 digits are non-zero, so significant figure are here 4. These are the 4 significant figure. Same if I will be discuss with you, suppose I'm writing here 1.76 or 1.46. this is here also there is a not a zero digit, all the non-zero digits. Non-zero, there is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, these are non-zero digits. So how many non-zero digits are available here? 1 2 3. So total significant figure are here 3 significant figure. 3 significant figure. So this is the first rule that I will discuss, कि all non-zero digits are significant. Now second rule is here, the zero preceding to the first non-zero digits are not significant. That meaning the zero which are present to the right hand side, left hand side from the first non-zero digits, that is not a significant. Like suppose this is 0.321. this 0 is lying left hand side from the first non-zero digit, so this is not a significant figure. This will be not count in a significant figure, and the rest of you can check out. This is also non-zero digits, this is also non-zero digits, this is also non-zero digits. So total non-zero digits are available here 3. So that is a 3 significant figure is available here. Same the other example if I will discuss, suppose I am taking here, this is 0.00026. Same, whatever zeros are available here on the left hand side of the first non-zero digits, this is the first non-zero digits in this number, and whatever zeros are available, they are on the left hand side, so they are not counted in the significant figure. So how many non-zero digits are available here? 2, 1 and 2. So total significant figure is available here 2 significant figure. So this is the second rule that I will discuss, कि the zero preceding to the first non-zero digits are not significant. Same that I have discussed with you. The third rule is available here, zeros between two non-zero digits are significant. That meaning if the zero is present in between two non-zero digits, then that zero is also counted in a significant figure. Like suppose I am writing in this way 3.02. this is 3.02. so whatever zero is available here, this is lying in between two non-zero digits, so that meaning this is also a significant figure. So how many significant figure are available here? This is 1 2 3, that is 3. This 0 is a significant figure because that is lying in between two non-zero digits. Suppose the next example I will be discuss with you, I am writing here, suppose this is 2.00006. again you can check out कि all the zeros whatever is available here, they are in between two non-zero digits. Whatever zeros are available, they are lying in between two non-zero digits. That meaning that these zeros are also counted in a significant figure. So total significant figure are available here. This is 1 2 3 4 5 6. So total significant figure is here 6. So that is the third rule which I have discussed with you, कि the zeros which are present in between two non-zero digits, they are also counted as a significant figure. They are also counted as a significant figure. The fourth rule that I am discussing with you, that is all zero placed at the end or to the right of the number are significant. That meaning whatever zeros are lying on the right hand side, they are also called significant figure. That meaning they are on the right side of the decimal. They are on the right side of the decimal. All zeros placed at the end or to the right of the number. To the right of the number. So like I am discussing here, this is suppose this is 0.0200. This is, now I will talk to you, these two digits, two zeros, they are on the right hand side of the non-zero digits, so they will be also counted as a significant figure. But this zero is not counted as a significant figure according to this rule. According to this rule, because that is on the left hand side of the non-zero digits. So here total significant figure are, this is 1 2 3. Total significant figure is available here 3. Now suppose I am writing here, this is 240.0. again you can check out, this 0 is on the right hand side of that number, so that is also counted as a significant figure. So this is 1 2 3 4. Total significant figure is available here 4. Suppose I am writing here 500. So how many significant figure are available? Both the zeros are on the right hand side of the number, that is why that is counted as a significant figure. So this is 1 2 3. Total significant figure is 3. Suppose I am writing 500.0. Now again all these three zeros are on the right hand side of the non-zero digits, so that meaning they are also counted as a significant figure. So 1 2 3 4. Total significant figure is 4. Suppose I am writing 500.00. Then again all these four zeros are on the right hand side of the on the right hand side of the non-zero digits, so these zeros are also counted as a significant figure. So how many significant figure are available here? 1 2 3 4 5. So this is the way to find the number of significant figure in the given number. I hope you have understand how to find the significant figure. That is too easy. It's clear, I hope. Now two topics I have discussed. One is the significant figure in my previous video, and second, that is rules for determining the number of significant figure. In my next video I will come with a new topic. Thank you. Good morning students. Today I will be discuss the first chapter of chemistry of class 11th, that is some basic concept of chemistry. The topic whatever I am discuss with you people, this is law of chemical combination. Like there are lots of chemical combination. The first law whatever we have studied, this is law of, that is law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass, that already we have discussed in class 9th. So if I will talk about the law of conservation of mass, so according to this law, the mass of reactant and the product side during a chemical change is remain same. That meaning during any physical or chemical change, the total mass of the product is always equal to the total mass of reactant. So that meaning I can say that the mass of a reactant is always equal to the mass of the product. So that mass of the reactant and the mass of the product both are equal. That is during, after a physical or chemical change. Physical and chemical change. Like if I will be discuss with you one example, that is very general example. Suppose I am having calcium carbonate and I'm going to heat it, this calcium carbonate. So after heating I will be get it calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas. This is, so if you will be see this calcium carbonate, this is a reactant. Why it is a reactant? Because it is going to participate in the reaction, and these two are the product because they are going to form in this reaction. So if you will be see the mass of the reactant side, the mass of calcium is 40 plus mass of carbon is 12 plus 3 multiply mass of oxygen is 16. So 40 plus 12 plus 16, 3 are 48. If you will add it, you are getting 100 unit. This is 100 unit. The same thing if I will be go with the other, so that also you can check out. This is the calcium oxide, the mass is 40, oxygen mass is 60, plus for carbon 12, oxygen 2 multiply 16 because 2 is available here. So this is total 56 plus 12 plus 32. So I can say that 56 plus 44. This is also coming 100 unit. So you can check out the mass of the reactant and the mass of the product both are equal. So that meaning we can say that this reaction is follow the law of conservation of mass. The same thing is available there. Suppose I am using the other example, like silver nitrate react with sodium chloride, then they will be give us silver chloride and sodium nitrate. Here also the mass of the reactant and the mass of the product both are equal. So the law of conservation of mass meaning the mass of the reactant side is always equal to the mass of the product side. Now after this I will be discuss the second law. This is the law of constant composition. Law of constant composition. Law of constant composition. The second law is here. Law of constant composition. This is law of constant composition, or I can say that definite proportion, or I can say that this is definite proportion. Definite proportion, that also we have studied in class 9th. If I will be discuss about this, then this is according to this law a pure chemical compound, that is a pure chemical compound, a pure chemical compound always contains same element contains same elements combined together in the same definite proportion, in the same definite proportion, same definite proportion. This is the law of constant composition. That meaning if a pure chemical compound is there, then it will be contain the same elements which are combined together in the same definite proportion of mass. Same definite proportion of mass. The example if I will discuss with you, suppose I am having here the water molecule. Suppose I am having a water molecule. This is H2O. This is a water molecule. If here you will be check out the 2 atom of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen is available here. So the mass of this hydrogen is what? 2 multiply 1, and the mass of oxygen is what? 1 multiply 16. This is 2, this is 16. If I will see their ratio, 2 1 are 2, 2 8 are 16. So this is coming 1 ratio 8, which is a constant proportion. That meaning if you will see in the water molecule, the two elements that are fixed, that is hydrogen and oxygen, whenever the water molecule will form, then hydrogen and oxygen, they will be combined in the fixed ratio of mass, that is 1 ratio 8. The same, the second example if I will discuss with you, that is of carbon dioxide gas. This is CO2. If I want to make the molecule of carbon dioxide, I want to make carbon dioxide, then it contains the same two elements. What are the two elements? One element of carbon and the two element of oxygen. Two element of oxygen that is available here. Now if you will be see, the mass of carbon is 12. This is 2 multiply mass of oxygen is 16. So 12 and this is 32. If you will see their ratio, 4 3s are 12, 4 8s are 32. So the ratio is coming 3 ratio 8. That meaning again if you will see in the carbon dioxide, it contains two same elements that are carbon and oxygen, and they will be always mixed in the same ratio of mass, that is 3 ratio 8. This indicates the law of constant composition or law of definite proportion. So these two laws, so that is too easy, already we have studied in our previous classes. But now whatever third law I will be discussed, this is law of multiple proportion. Law of multiple proportion. Law of multiple proportion, and that is the important one. Law of multiple proportion. Law of multiple proportion. In this law, if you will be see, here multiple proportion. So especially though, according to if you knows about who has given this law is given by Dalton. This law is given by Dalton. If I will be talk about this law, so according to this law, when two elements combine, when two elements combine to form two or combine to form two or more than two, to form two or more than two compounds, then the masses of one of the element, then the masses of one of the element, which combine with fixed mass of which combine with fixed mass of the other mass of fixed mass of the other are in a simple whole number ratio, are in the simple whole number ratio, So that meaning when two elements combine to form two or more than two compounds, then the masses of one of the element which combine with fixed mass of other are in a simple whole number ratio. If I will be discuss with you the example, like suppose I am having the two elements, that is hydrogen and oxygen. I'm having two elements. This is hydrogen and oxygen. Two elements are here, hydrogen and oxygen. When they will combine, they will be give us one molecule of water, and the same when they will be combined, they can give us the molecule of hydrogen peroxide, that is H2O2. That is H2O2. If you will be see here, if the mass of one element is fixed, which one? This is the hydrogen. This is hydrogen. Here also you can check out the mass of hydrogen is 2. 2 multiply 1. Here also 2 multiply 1. So the mass of the hydrogen is fixed here, and the other element whatever is available here, that will be R in the simple whole number ratio. So which one is the other element? That is oxygen. Here the mass of oxygen is 16, and here the mass of oxygen is 32, because 16 to the 32. So their ratio, if I will be see, 16 1 is 16, 16 to the 32, this is 1:2, which is a simple whole number ratio. Which is a simple whole number ratio. So that meaning the law of multiple proportion is proved. That meaning the law of multiple proportion is proved. The same other example, same if I will discuss with you. Suppose I am having the element carbon and oxygen. When these both combine, they can give us carbon monoxide, or they can give us carbon dioxide. This is, they can give us carbon monoxide, or they can give us carbon dioxide. If I will be see here, the mass of which element is fixed, that meaning in which element they have the same mass in both the compounds, that is carbon. This is here also carbon is of 12, and here also carbon is of 12. So according to this law, the if the one mass is fixed, then the ratio of the other one is in the simple whole number ratio. So which one is the other one available here? This is the oxygen, its mass is 16, and this is the oxygen, here 16 to the 32. So again if you will see, their ratio is 16 to the 16, 16 to the 32, which is a simple whole number ratio. So this is also, we have proved it. Now I am going with the other example. If you will be see, then this will be, I am taking here the nitrogen and oxygen. The other element example I am taking here, that is of nitrogen and oxygen. If you will be see, in nitrogen and oxygen, when the nitrogen and oxygen they are combined, then what's happen? I'm having the element, one is nitrogen and the other is oxygen. When they will be combined, one though we are getting here, this is N2O. One I'm getting here the compound N2O. Other compound, if I will be see, I can get it from here N2O3. N2O3. The third, if I will be see, I will be getting here N2O4. N2O4. Fourth, if I will be see, this is N2O5. N2O5. So here you can see, we get it the four compound when nitrogen and oxygen they are combined. So that I have taken N2O. After that N2O3, N2O4, N2O5. In this you can check out that one element is there whose mass is fixed. Which element is here whose mass is fixed? That is the nitrogen. Here you can check out. This is also nitrogen mass is 14. 14 to the 28. Here also 28. Here also you can check out 28. Here also 28. Here also 28. That meaning the mass of nitrogen is fixed, that is 28. So there is no problem. So the other element mass in all the compound, that will be in the fixed ratio, simple ratio of mass, simple whole number ratio. So for that oxygen, the mass of oxygen is what? That is 16. So this is 16. Here the mass of oxygen 16 3s are 48. This is 48. Here the mass of oxygen, if you will see, 16 4s are 64. Here the mass of oxygen 16 5s are what is 80. If you will see their ratio, so 16 1s are 16, 16 3s are 48, 16 4s are 64, 16 5s are 80. So ratio you can check out 1 ratio 3 ratio 4 ratio 5. That meaning all they are in whole number ratio. So that shows the law of multiple proportion of mass. So that three laws I've discussed with you. After these three laws, I'm going with the fourth law. This is law of reciprocal proportion. Law of reciprocal proportion. Law of reciprocal proportion. The fourth law, that is law of reciprocal proportion. Law of reciprocal proportion, or we can say that this is the law of equivalent proportions. Law of equivalent proportion. Law of equivalent proportion, that is, so according to this law, when two different elements combine, when two different elements combine, suppose two elements are there and they are going to combine separately with the same weight of third element. Two elements combine separately with the same weight of a third element, then the ratio in which they do so will be the same or some simple multiple of the ratio in which they combine with each other. That is the law. So again I'm speaking, when two different elements combine separately with the same weight of a third element, like suppose A and B, they are two different element, they are going to combine with the C. Here also they are going to combine with the C with the same weight of element. Then the ratio in which they do so will be the same of some simple multiple of the ratio in which they combine with each other. That meaning on the time the ratio that will be in the simple ratio, like I'm discussing the example, I'm having three elements. One is hydrogen, suppose I am having three element. One is hydrogen, one is sulfur, and one is oxygen. So I am having the three element, they are going to combine with each other. Separately they are going to combine. When hydrogen and sulfur combine, they are giving us H2S, hydrogen sulfide. When hydrogen and oxygen combine, they are giving us the water molecule, this is H2O. When sulfur and oxygen combine, they are giving us sulfur dioxide, that is. So here you will check out, all they are different compound. If I will be see here in hydrogen sulfide, then 2 part of hydrogen combined with 32 part of sulfur. So in H2S, if I will be see 2 part of hydrogen combined with the mass of sulfur is 32 part of sulfur. In H2F you will be see 2 part of hydrogen combined with oxygen mass is 16 part of oxygen. In SO2 if you will be see, in SO firstly though you will see the formula of these two, because this is sulfur and oxygen, two different element, they are combined with the same element of hydrogen. Whatever they have said, when two different element combine separately with the same weight of the third element, sulfur oxygen two different element, they are combined with the same weight of third element, that is. So first of all, the ratio in which they do so what is the ratio of these? So if I will be check out, the ratio is coming here, you can check out कि that is the same, there is a no problem. This is the same, this is a different 32 and 16. So whatever ratio is there, so what is the ratio? 32 ratio 16, I am getting here 2 ratio 1. So till here is clear. The ratio in which they do so will be the same or some simple multiple of the ratio in which they combine with each other. So meaning whenever they combine with each other, so whatever ratio will be coming, that either though it will be same or some simple multiple of this ratio. So whenever the sulfur dioxide they are going to combine, so here you can check out the mass of sulfur is what? Sulfur oxygen combined, they will give us the sulfur dioxide. So mass of sulfur is what? This is 32. This is 32. The oxygen 16 to the 32. So their ratio is coming what? 1 ratio 1. This is. So when two different elements combine with the same mass of third element, then the ratio is coming 2 ratio 1. And when they will combine with each other, then the ratio is coming 1 ratio 1. So if I will check it, the ratio is what? Firstly the 2 ratio 1 ratio 1 ratio 1. This is, if I will be solve it, so I can say that this is the remain same 2 ratio 1 2 ratio 1, whatever the definition is said, कि that is the same or the same multiple or the same multiple. So that we have discussed here. If suppose in place of sulfur dioxide they are giving us sulfur trioxide, suppose in place of sulfur dioxide I am getting here sulfur trioxide, suppose, okay, that I am discussing the other example. So that is clear कि when two different elements combine with the same, separately they have to combine with the same weight of the third element, then the ratio in which they do so the ratio is coming 2 ratio 1, because hydrogen is the same 2 2, but the sulfur oxygen that is a different, so that ratio is coming 2 ratio 1 be the same or some simple multiple of the ratio in which they combine with each other, that meaning their ratio, and when they will combine with each other then their ratio, that will becomes either same or some simple multiple ratio which you have seen 2 ratio 1. This is for when they will combine separately, and when they will combine each other the ratio is coming 1 ratio 1. So if I will check out there, the ratio is coming 2:1, 2/1, ratio 1/1, that is coming 2:1. Now, one more example I am discuss with you for this, where I will take the example of sulfur trioxide. Suppose I am having the same hydrogen, oxygen and sulfur. I am having the same hydrogen, oxygen and sulfur. This is hydrogen, this is oxygen, this is sulfur. When hydrogen and these oxygen, sulfur, two different elements, they are going to combine with the same mass of element separately. When oxygen combine with hydrogen, it is giving us H2O. Sulfur combine with hydrogen, it is giving us H2S. When they will combine with each other, they can give us SO3. SO2 example तो I have discussed with you. So now SO3 let. Now if you will see separately when they will combine, so what is the ratio? So here if I will be see in H2S and that is H2O, this is to remain same 2, so there is no problem. But for sulfur this is 32 and for oxygen this is 16. So what ratio will be coming here? 2:1. This is, now when they will be combined with each other, then what is the ratio you can check out. For sulfur this is 32. For oxygen what is 16 3s are 48. So 16 2s are 16 3s are. So ratio is coming 2:3. So if I will find out their ratio, so this will be what? 2/1 ratio 2/3. Or I can write 2/1 upon 2/3. 2 cancel by 2. 3 will be going on top 4. So 3/1. I can say that 3:1. This is a simple multiple of each other. So that is the law of reciprocal proportion of mass, or I can say that this is a law of equivalent proportion. After this, one more law is there, that is Gay-Lussac law of combining volume, that I will be discuss with you people in my next video. I hope everyone has understand properly. So I will become very soon with my next video. Thank you. Good morning students. In my previous video I have discussed the 4 laws of chemical combination, and today in this video I will discuss the 5th law of chemical combination, that is Gay-Lussac law of combining volume. So according to the Gay-Lussac law of combining volume, under similar condition of temperature and pressure, that meaning when temperature and pressure are same, whenever gases react, if the gases are react, then the volume of the reacting gases as well as product, keep in your mind the product should be a gas, the product should be a gas, bear a simple whole number ratio. Meaning is this, suppose I am having here a 1 volume of gas A combined with a 1 volume of gas B. Suppose this is the 1 volume, and whenever after combining, after reacting, they are giving us the 2 volume of a gas C, suppose. So the ratio whatever will be there, this will be coming what? This will be coming, that is 1:1:2. So that is a whole number ratio, that is given by the Gay-Lussac. The simple example I am discussing with you, that is suppose I am having hydrogen gas, this is H2, it combined with chlorine gas, this is Cl2, and it will be give us hydrochloric gas, hydrochloride gas, this is HCl. Whenever hydrogen and chlorine gas combine, they will be give us the gas of hydrogen chloride, which is of 2 mole. So if I will discuss it here, so their ratio is what? Here you will check out, this is the 1 volume of hydrogen, 1 volume of hydrogen, same 1 volume of chlorine, and we are getting here 2 volume of hydrogen chloride. So whatever their ratio I will be check out, that will be a simple whole number ratio. So this is a 1, this is also 1, and this is 2. So the ratio is coming 1:1:2, which is a simple whole number ratio. The second example, if I will discuss, suppose I'm having here hydrogen, that is H2, 2 volume of hydrogen gas, and having 1 volume of oxygen gas. So whenever they will be combined, then they will be give us 2 molecules of water vapor. 2 molecules of water vapor. So its meaning, after combining, they will be, if you will see that is a 2 volume, this is a 2 volume, this is of 1 volume, and this is also of 2 volume. All they are in gaseous form. If I will check it their ratio, so what ratio will be coming? The ratio is coming, that is 2:1:2. 2:1:2, all they are in gaseous form. That is also a simple whole number ratio. If generally I will discuss the other example, let's see, suppose this is for hydrogen. One container I am having of some same volume, the other container also, and this is for same volume for other container, and this is also a volume of the other container. That is whatever the gas will form. In this container also I will having the hydrogen. This is of 1 volume of hydrogen. Same the other 1 volume of hydrogen. Suppose that is I am having, and for oxygen also I have, and suppose this is for oxygen, 1 volume of oxygen is available here. So whenever they will be combined, so what will be happen, on the 1 volume of oxygen, 2 volume of hydrogen will be attached. In this way, this is of oxygen, this is a 1 volume of hydrogen, second volume, because this is a 1 volume, this is a 1 volume, this is a 1 volume. So whenever they will be combined, so 1 atom of oxygen is combined with the 2 atom of hydrogen, that is in this way. So same, this is the other one, this is of 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 other one. So that meaning you can check out, this is 1 volume, 1 volume, this is 1 volume. So this is a 1 volume, this is 1, this is 1, that is total what, 2 volume, because that is indicate the 2 volume, this is indicate the 1 volume. So whenever they will combine, so we are getting what, the 2 volumes. So the simple we can say that 2 volume of hydrogen combined with the 1 volume of oxygen, then they will giving us the 2 volume of water vapor. That meaning the simple whole ratio is coming 2:1:2. So that will be indicate the Gallo-Sok law of combining volume. I hope you have understand. Now I will become very soon with my next video. In that video I will be discuss the mole concept, which is a very important topic of the whole chemistry. Thank you. Good morning students. Today in this video I will be discuss with you some numerical which are related to the law of chemical combination. So the first numerical that I am discuss with you, let I'm giving you the following data. I'm giving you. According to this following data, the mass of dinitrogen, the data we have obtained when dinitrogen and dioxygen react to each other. Following data in which dinitrogen and dioxygen react with each other. So whatever thing they are giving us, that is mass of dinitrogen, whatever I am obtaining, mass of dinitrogen, whatever I am going to obtain, this is for first compound, this is of 14 gram. For second compound, this is of also 14 gram. For third compound, this is also of 28, this is of 28 gram. And for fourth compound, this is also again 28 gram. This is, and they are giving us the mass of dioxygen which are combined. Mass of dioxygen which is combined. Suppose the mass of dioxygen they are giving us, this is of 16 gram, and for second part they are giving 32 gram. For third part they are giving 32 gram, and for fourth part they are giving 80 gram. This is they are giving, and they are saying that ki show that ki this data illustrate the law of multiple proportion. Illustrate the law of multiple proportion. So we know that in the multiple proportion what will be happen कि they should be combined in the fixed ratio of mass whenever the mass of one atom is fixed. Suppose I am going to fix the mass of nitrogen here. That meaning fixed mass of nitrogen. Suppose I am going to fix the mass of nitrogen here 14. Okay, I am going to fix the mass of nitrogen is 14. This is for first compound. Same for second compound, this is 14. For third compound, this is 14. And for fourth compound also, this is 14. Now, what is the mass of oxygen which combined with fixed mass of N2? Now 14 gram of nitrogen combined with 16 gram of oxygen, so fixed mass of nitrogen 14. So how much oxygen is needed here? This is of 16 gram. This is, now for second, again this is 14 gram of nitrogen react with 32 gram of oxygen. This is also the fixed 14 gram. So how much oxygen is needed? 32 gram. Now 28 gram of oxygen is there, reacted with 32 gram of oxygen. So if the nitrogen is 14 gram, so how much oxygen is needed? Keep in your mind. Firstly, 28 gram of N2 react with 32 gram of O2. So 1 gram of N2 will be 32 upon 28. So 14 gram will be 32 multiply 14 upon 28. 14 to the 28. This is coming 16. So that meaning this will be giving us 16 gram of oxygen. Same 28 gram, then it is giving 80 gram of oxygen. So for 14 gram, how much will be coming? This will be in place of 32. What will be coming here? 80. So 14 to the 28. So if I will cancel it, so this is coming 40. So I need 40 gram of oxygen. So that meaning here you can check out these four that are the fixed mass now. That are the fixed mass, that is a 14. So whatever mass of oxygen they are combined, that should be of a simple whole number ratio. Let's see if they are in simple whole number ratio or not. So this is 16 ratio 32 ratio 16 ratio 40. This is, so what the ratio will be coming here if you will check out. So 8 to the 16, 8 for the 32, 8 to the 16, 8 5 is a 40. So 2 ratio 4 ratio 2 ratio 5. This is a simple whole number ratio which illustrate the law of multiple proportion of mass. So this is the way to solve this question. So that means we need to fix the mass of one element, one atom. So it's not ki you will fix only the mass of this atom. You can fix the mass of dioxygen.